Hey guys, it's Siobhan with To Kitty and Beyond. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the new moon in Sagittarius, what's going on with the solar winds currently, as well as the Schumann resonance, and a couple of different things that I've been picking up on intuitively and in my environment to do with frequency. So first and foremost, we are currently at this period of time, on November 26th, depending on your location, we are experiencing the new moon in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's very outgoing, extroverted, or at least it can be, very driven, goal-oriented when it comes to work, and passionate, as well as travel-oriented. And because it is a fire sign, may still be a little bit easily inflamed, let's say. So I've been experiencing some of these side effects, if you will, as we experience the energy of the transition into Sagittarius season, as well as this Sagittarius new moon. This is also the last new moon of 2019. So the next month is going to be a full moon and a solar eclipse, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the last new moon of 2019, really, really good for setting intentions. I've already had this come up in sessions where the cards and the guides are reminding people that this new moon is particularly powerful, especially when it comes to positive manifestation. So if you're looking to manifest something, especially to do with work or travel, then this new moon is a great opportunity to write it down, create a vision board, or just speak it into existence, whatever you feel most comfortable doing and whatever you like to do for rituals when it comes to manifestation. Now's the time to do it. So on top of that, we have the Schumann resonance currently at about 20 power. So not anything too significant to report, although there is some blackouts in the data, some blocks where we can't really see what the resonance was or is. Not sure why that happens. I think sometimes if it goes offline, it's just a technical difficulty or malfunction, but it could be related to the solar winds as well, as it may create a power that knocks it out. So when it comes to the solar activity right now, we have what is called a co-rotating interaction region. So a co-rotating interaction region is expected to hit Earth's magnetic field late on November 26th, according to NOAA forecasters. So CIRs are transition zones between fast and slow moving solar wind streams. And solar wind plasma piles up in these regions, producing shock-like density gradients that can do a good job of sparking Arctic auroras. So that's from spaceweather.com. I'll leave the link in the description box below. But auroras are space material interacting with our Earth's geomagnetic poles. So that's why we see it them primarily at the poles, as well as in other areas, but it's basically just space dust and solar wind particles interacting with our atmosphere and the geomagnetic polarity of our planet. So, these kinds of things can have effects on us physically, as well as with technology and other things like that, as we can see with the potential Schumann resonance blackouts and that kind of thing. If you experience sensitivity to solar activity, then it can hit you in different ways. You can feel really, really stimulated, energized, not really feel like you need to eat a lot. You may feel like you need additional rest, and the complete opposite, as though you're very tired, weak, foggy-minded. Physical nausea or other side effects include dizziness, vertigo, ear buzzing, not tinnitus, but actual high frequency pitch changes or density changes, among other things. It's going to be different for everybody, and there's lots of different what they call ascension symptoms to look out for, but each individual experiences something different depending on what their current energy is at, what your sensitivities are, where your strengths are, that kind of thing. Like if you have extrasensory perception or you're a highly sensitive person, then this can be a little bit more physical for you or emotional as well. So not only physical effects, but emotional effects that can take place. So purging and or emotional release of some kind. Also epiphanies on the positive side. We can have realizations of things that we've seen a million times but never really understood. And then all of a sudden you're like, this makes sense to me. I get it now. And because we are in Sagittarius, again, I was saying like the flare-ups, the fire sign, there can be a little bit of added frustration or confrontation when it comes to relationships or just your own personal feelings within yourself may be a little bit boiling up a little bit closer to the surface. So just be aware of those energies and work with them, not against them, preferably. We are all sovereign beings. We don't have to experience any of these things. But if you choose to, then that's totally up to you. And if you don't choose to, then you can, declare that to yourself as a sovereign being. You don't have to endure any suffering. So just be aware of that. Also, I wanted to mention about frequency. So there was some messages that were coming through to me from my guides through synchronicities in my life. And they've been coming through for a long time. I was seeing harps for a really long time. And I think I mentioned this in a video months and months ago that I was seeing harps repeatedly. So there's many different ways that I could interpret this. I could say harp, HARP, the geomagnetic manipulation of, or not geomagnetic, but the weather or climate manipulation. I will let you guys look into that on your own. I'm not going to speak too much on it here. But other than that, I was thinking, okay, harp, what do harps do? Well, they create this beautiful music. What is music? It is sound. What is sound? It's frequency, it's waves, resonance, that kind of thing. Harps are also associated with angelic beings, angels. They're often depicted with harps in their hands. And the harp music itself is known to be very calming, very relaxing. So I took note of this for a long time, and they kept showing me harps over and over and over again. And so when they keep showing me something, it means that I didn't actually come to the understanding that was intended. I may have kind of beaten around the bush, but I didn't actually get to the core root of the message that was attempting to be delivered to me. So the harp message has continued, and until today, I finally realized what it meant. And I was right there with the meaning. I just didn't completely put two and two together and understand it. So today I finally realized that yes, it's to do with frequency and resonance. And when we speak of resonance, every tarot video I ever do, I always say, take what resonates, etc. Well, what is resonance? Resonance is vibration. It's part of frequency, but it's a frequency that is triggered by some other frequency. So for example, if you had a harp in your room and you didn't touch it at all, but you hit a G chord on another instrument or with a tuning fork, the G chord on the harp will begin to vibrate. Simply because the frequency is compatible. It resonates. So when a message resonates with you, it's igniting or triggering a frequency within you. And it's the opposite for triggers. Emotional triggers, as we perceive them to be negative, are creating an emotional resonance with a wound. So trigger and resonance is actually the same thing, and I'm actually just realizing this at this moment. I love when this happens. Sometimes I just channel information as I go. So what it really boils down to with the heart message was about frequency. And they were showing me how frequency can physically affect us both in the negative and in the positive sense. So when it comes to harp, as in HARP, I was also being drawn to cell phone towers. I kept seeing them everywhere I go. And I mean, they are everywhere, but for years I never noticed them. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, my attention's being drawn there and I'm seeing them everywhere. And I'm feeling them every time I drive by them, because they tend to be in areas that are close to main roadways, especially highways in my area in particular. And I can feel them as I drive by. I can also feel if there's a microwave on, and that's why I don't have a microwave in my house anymore. But when I did used to live in places that had microwaves, anytime it would go on, I would feel it, even if I wasn't in the same room. So it's this kind of frequency that certain people are particularly sensitive to that can have damaging effects. And I've also been told by my guides to spend a little bit less time on my phone and in front of my computer, because these emit radiation as well, which is a lower vibrational frequency and can affect us in negative ways, not just with the blue light emission, but also just the frequency of the radiation itself. It's not good for our cells, it's not good for our mind, it's not good for anything. So reducing screen time is something that I've been guided to do, but it's difficult because I have a self-admitted phone addiction, as most of us do. But the frequency on the positive side can be very beneficial. And they showed me this through, I am already aware of like crystal sound healing, frequencies and tones, the solfeggio scale, different frequencies in the hertz range that can promote healing within the body, within the mind, at an energetic level as well. So I was kind of scrolling on Instagram this morning, not heeding my guidance to stay off my phone. And I came across a couple of videos from two different sources, but within a very short time frame, that were around the same theme. So the first video was of a sunflower that somebody had attached these like, what do you call those? When you put those little pads on your body and then you can measure your heart rate or your electrical signals in the body. They put those on a sunflower plant, and it started creating this beautiful heavenly etheric type of music. And I've actually heard of this before. There's sound forests, I think in Germany or Scandinavia, I can't remember where particularly, but there's forests where they hook all of the trees and the plants up to these devices, and the plants and the trees will create symphonies of music. And they actually learn as they go too. They can hear the music that they're creating, and they begin to not only work together, but they learn to get better at harmonizing, which is really cool, because plants obviously have consciousness. That may not be obvious to everybody, but plants do have consciousness. So in addition to that, I was shown a video of a whale doing whale calls, and the difference between the two sounds was significant. The sunflower really triggered a reaction in my root chakra, and the whale sound really triggered a reaction in my heart chakra. So there was resonance in the areas that were a vibrational match. So the sunflower, being from the earth, triggered or created resonance within my root chakra, because that is the frequency that's connected to the earth in our physical energetic system. And the whale, which they're known for being very, very compassionate, heart-centered beings. They're very empathic. And a lot of the time, people can associate whales with their counterparts from Sirius, as well as other water-dominant planets in our solar system and beyond. So these beings are extremely empathic, highly compassionate, heart-centered. And so when I was listening to the whale call, it really activated within my heart center, my heart chakra, the resonance and vibrational frequency. So I found that really interesting, and I wanted to share that with you guys, get your guys' take on it if you guys have experienced anything like this. I've not experienced anything like that from plants and animals. I have experienced sound healing from crystal bowls, singing bowls, like Tibetan singing bowls, as well as other modes of sound healing, binaural beats, solfeggio, music, and that kind of thing. So this was a first for me, and it really was in contextual alignment with the message that I was being attempted to receive. So now I finally understand that it goes down to the level of frequency, which is sound, light, radiation, and it's all around us and it's constantly influencing us. So this is something to be aware of, the frequency that you're emitting, as well as the frequencies that you're resonating with, being triggered by, or picking up on in a general sense, the frequencies of your environment, and the influences of external frequencies that we could potentially avoid or introduce more of in our life, depending on whether they are not beneficial or beneficial. So share with me in the comments any of the experiences you guys have had with sound healing or frequency in general, especially as it relates to the topics that I've been discussing today. And unfortunately, I don't offer sound healing as a practitioner because I don't specialize in that. But if you do live in the Vancouver area, I highly recommend Zenden. It's a meditation center on Water Street, and they do have crystal sound healing meditation nights. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just really enjoy going there. So, also, I will mention before we close out the video here that the Black Friday promotional pricing is still in effect until November 30th. So if you guys would like to get a discounted price for readings and Reiki sessions, now is the time to do that. Please email me at siomcg41@outlook.com to book a session, and make sure that you put the type of reading or session that you're wanting to schedule in the subject box of the email. And all the pricing and information will be in the description box below. So the Black Friday pricing is 50% off, 50. So this is a big one. I'll be waiting a little while until I put another sale like this out. So take advantage of this while it lasts. And thank you to all of those who have booked readings and had sessions with me as of late. It has been amazing. And I am truly honored to play a part in your spiritual journeys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.